Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
Anthony sighed in contentment as he stepped into his new duplex. The air was fresh, infused with a mixture of eccentric aromas, wafting from the diverse cuisine of his neighbors. He had just moved into this bustling part of the city where humans and aliens coexisted in a fascinating, albeit chaotic harmony. The street was alive with chatter and laughter, an orchestra of voices, which he found oddly comforting. The duplex itself was modest, 2 stories, a small porch, and a shared backyard filled with quirky decorations from both species. Brightly colored banners hung from balconies, some written in alien scripts Anthony couldn't decipher, but found intriguing all the same. He loved the energy here, a welcome change from his previous dull apartment in a more mundane neighborhood. As Anthony unpacked his things, he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. It was a strange sensation that prickled at the back of his neck. Shaking it off as the jitters of moving, he plopped down on the couch, ready to celebrate his new beginning with a takeaway dinner. That's when he heard it, a soft, melodic sound coming from next door. At first, he thought nothing of it. Perhaps it was just an alien music style he wasn't familiar with. But as the night wore on, the sounds morphed into something bizarre and almost desperate. Taking a deep breath, he decided to investigate. Knocking on the thin wall that separated their units, Anthony leaned in closer, trying to decipher what was happening. The noise intensified, resonating almost like a call for help. His curiosity piqued. Anthony rapped on the wall again, though the response was a shift in the sound rather than silence. "Is everything okay over there?" he called, his voice slightly shaky. A sudden quiet fell, and then there was a gentle knock at his door. Anthony's heart raced as he opened it, revealing his alien neighbor. Standing before him was Arya, a striking figure with iridescent skin that shimmered in hues of violet and green, as if reflecting the starlight from her home planet. Her features were delicately alien, with wide, expressive eyes and elegant antennae that flicked nervously at her temples. She seemed disheveled, her usually immaculate clothing wrinkled and her hair unkempt. "Please," she said, her voice a melodic whisper, "I need help." "What's going on?" Anthony asked, stepping aside. "Come in." As she entered, an intoxicating scent enveloped him, sweet, floral, and earth-shattering. Anthony swallowed hard, feeling immediate attraction, which he quickly dismissed as concern for her apparent distress. Arya looked almost embarrassed, seemingly struggling with words. It's that time for me. I didn't know how to prepare myself, and I don't know what to do." Anthony blinked, bewildered. "What do you mean? What time?" She hesitated, chewing her lip, her alien features twisted into reluctance. "Mating season. I am overwhelmed." Suddenly, everything clicked in Anthony's mind. The strange noises, her current state. She was indeed caught in the throes of her species' mating season, something he had read about but never truly understood. The thought raced through him. How was he supposed to navigate this? Before he could respond, the senses swirling in his head were suddenly dulled by the focus on her distress, and he could feel the tension in the air thickening. "Okay," he said slowly. "Let's figure this out together." Arya looked at him, her eyes wide with a mixture of relief and caution. "Thank you," she breathed, taking a step closer. "I'll try to control it, but—" The words hung in the air, laden with an intensity that sent a shiver down Anthony's spine. How were they going to navigate this unprecedented situation? The moment stretched as Anthony and Arya stood in the living room, an invisible barrier of tension forming between them. Anthony fought to keep his own thoughts in check, while Arya's presence loomed large, her mere existence shaking the foundations of his reason. I can't really. I mean, is there anything specific you need?" he asked, trying to maintain a professional composure that felt feeble. He was out of his depth, and Arya's radiant beauty made it all the more disorienting. Arya exhaled slowly, closing her eyes for a moment as if centered herself. "I need to contain my urges." Anthony gulped. "Right. So how do we do that?" Her antennae twitched in thought. "Distraction might help. Interacting with you might keep my mind from spiraling out of control. If you're comfortable." "Okay," he replied, though the knot in his stomach tightened at the prospect of spending more time in her company. "What do you like to do for fun?" Her eyes sparkled as she responded. "I enjoy storytelling. On my planet, we share tales that delve into our history, our culture, our dreams." "Stories, huh?" Anthony leaned back against the couch, intrigued. "I love stories. I write a bit myself." "Oh, you're a storyteller?" The color in her skin shimmered, a cadence of excitement fluttering through her features. "I would love to hear some of your stories." As they settled into conversation, Anthony discovered that Arya was not only beautiful, but also captivating in her knowledge. They spoke for hours about their lives, cultures, and aspirations, weaving a tapestry of connection. Slowly, the urgency of Arya's bodily instincts appeared to quell under the weight of dialogue. They laughed together, and Anthony found himself drawn deeper into her world. In her presence, he felt his worries about the mating season ease. For the first time, he could see past the alien and into the person, her hopes, fears, and dreams. It was a relief, but also unsettling. He knew that their realities were different, and their species' biological imperatives were looming. However, as their laughter faded into a comfortable silence, he couldn't help but notice the slight flush of her skin. He feared that no amount of storytelling would be enough to quell the inevitable ebb of her instinctual drive. As days passed, their initial conversations transformed into playful banter whenever they crossed paths in the stairwell or shared the backyard. Anthony became accustomed to her routine. He'd often catch glimpses of her practicing stretches or engaging in peculiar alien rituals he couldn't fully understand. But each encounter seemed to heighten his attraction. One evening, as he was bringing in the trash, he spotted Arya on her balcony, her form illuminated by the soft glow of the evening sun. She wore a flowing garment that accentuated her figure, her antennae dancing in the breeze. Seeing her in that moment, a mix of longing and confusion washed over him. He felt a pull, a desire to reach out, yet he was stuck in a swirl of societal norms and the fear of crossing boundaries. "Hey, Arya," he called out, summoning the courage to speak. "Mind if I ask how your, inner urges are handling?" Her laughter was melodic, a sound that sent a shiver down his spine. "I'm managing," she replied with a wink. "You have been quite the welcome distraction." "That's good to hear," he said, leaning on the railing. "I'm glad I could help in some way." Their eyes met for a split second, and the tension between them ignited anew. Anthony's heart raced as Arya stepped closer to the balcony edge. "Anthony," she began, her voice softening. "I've never shared my," she hesitated, searching for the right words, "story with a human before. It's different and yet comforting." "Different can be good," he replied, feeling emboldened. "Maybe I can share more stories if it helps." "Yes," Arya said, her face lighting up with anticipation. "Maybe we can find a way to bridge our worlds." Suddenly, she leaned further over the railing, her gaze locked onto his. The air around them thickened with an intensity he couldn't ignore. Her eyes glinted with something primal, and he felt himself being drawn to her. But before he could lean in closer, Arya stepped back suddenly, a flicker of concern crossing her features. I don't want to create complications for you." Anthony opened his mouth to reassure her, but the moment hung thick and electric, and he knew they were dancing dangerously close to a precipice. "Let's just take it one step at a time," he finally said, though inside he felt the fire of anticipation burning brighter. Little did he know, every moment they spent together brought them closer to an inevitable unfolding of their deeper desires, and the ensuing chaos of the mating season awaited them just around the corner. Days turned into a blur as Anthony and Arya connected over shared stories and laughter, but the underlying tension of Arya's mating season loomed heavily in the air. Each interaction was layered with an intensity neither could quite articulate, and Anthony's heart raced both with excitement and anxiety as the days progressed. One afternoon, during a particularly pressed moment, Anthony decided to take initiative. He had spent the morning researching Arya's species, desperate to understand the nuances of their mating rituals and, perhaps, to get a better grip on his own feelings. He had stumbled upon a community forum filled with essays and stories detailing her culture. The narratives whisked him into the depths of a rich history filled with melodrama, tradition, and stunning emotionality. The more he read, the more he realized this was no mere biological cycle. It was an intricate social event that celebrated the union of spirits and the intertwining of destinies. Sitting on the porch one sunny afternoon, Anthony set his phone down and looked across the shared yard, spotting Arya tending to a small garden of vibrant flowers that seemed to bloom only under her care. He admired the way she moved, graceful and fluid, a dance in the essence of her being. Gathering his courage, he walked over, his heartbeat echoing in his ears. "Hey, Arya," he called, forcing himself to sound casual. "Mind if I join you?" "Of course, Anthony." Her face lit up, and he noted the way her antennae perked up at his presence. "I was just experimenting with my herb garden. These flowers have medicinal properties." "Really? That's fascinating." He knelt beside her, intrigued. "What do they do?" "Each one has a different purpose," Arya explained, gesturing to a cluster of blossoms. "These petals help calm the mind, while those can enhance focus. And this one," she pointed toward a bright blue flower, "is known to heighten sensations." His breath caught in his throat, the implications hitting him like a wave. "Heightened sensations." "Yes," she replied, her voice teasing. "During mating, they can amplify emotions and desires." She caught his gaze, her eyes twinkling mischievously. "I use them during my season. They help me manage the intensity." An awkward silence enveloped them as Anthony processed her words, the reality of her need merging with an intensity he hadn't anticipated. "Do you want me to help with those?" he asked hesitantly, not sure where the question would lead. A playful grin spread across Arya's face. "Are you offering to help me find more flowers?" Yes, maybe." He fumbled with his words, suddenly lost in the depths of her gaze. "I just thought it might be good to understand what you go through. Or what you need." Arya cocked her head, her antennae curving curiously. "You really want to understand? It's not just about the flowers, you know. There's much more involved." He straightened up, determination set in his expression. "I want to try. I want to understand you, your culture. I know it's invasive to say, but—" "Anthony," she interrupted, her voice softening. "You're not invasive. You are curious, and your willingness to learn is refreshing." She reached out, brushing her fingers lightly against his arm, igniting a spark of warmth between them. In that instant, Anthony realized he was becoming increasingly attached to her quirks, her insights, her joy and her struggles. All of it drew him in like gravitational waves. "All right, let's do it," Anthony said with newfound energy, standing to face her, excitement bubbling over. "Lead the way. What if we go to the nearby park? There are unique plants that only bloom during mating season." Arya's eyes were alight with enthusiasm. "It will be a small adventure." "A small adventure it is," he replied, feeling emboldened. He grabbed a water bottle and followed her into the vibrant city. As they strolled through the park, the air was heavy with the fragrances of a myriad of blooms, colors dancing beneath the sunlight. Arya pointed out plants while explaining their significance, each word weaving her culture into a tapestry in his mind. "Some of these plants signify commitment," she said, picking a delicate flower and handing it to him. "Like this one, it represents loyalty and faithfulness in a partner." Anthony accepted it, his heart racing. "You really value these connections, don't you?" "Very much so," she affirmed, her voice steady. "In my culture, we believe that bonds transcend mere physicality. It's about emotional intertwining." Feeling a surge of courage, he turned to her directly. "Is that how you see our connection too?" Arya hesitated, eyes glinting with unspoken thoughts. "I mean, I appreciate you, Anthony. You have been more than just a neighbor. You've become a friend who not only listens, but cares." A moment hung between them like an anchor, charged with potential. Anthony's heart raced, and he pushed forward. "What if we let this bond, whatever it is, evolve?" Her breath caught, the tension swirling in the wind. "If it were to evolve," she said slowly, "there are complexities to consider, not just our feelings, but our nature." "What do you mean?" "Human and alien laws, the expectations from my people during mating season. It's not just about desires, but responsibilities, she explained, her face dimming slightly, a flicker of doubt clouding the vibrant connection they had built. Anthony frowned. I get it, but relationships often transcend rules and boundaries, don't they? Can we embrace this adventure without overthinking it? Arya bit her lip, staring at him. It would be dangerous. I don't want to hurt you. Feeling a surge of frustration mixed with determination, he stepped closer. I want to take that risk, Arya. It's about exploration. If we don't take risks, what's the point? Anthony, she started, a mix of admiration and uncertainty playing across her features. You're so different from what I expected. Different can be good. He echoed her earlier words, attempting a smile, hoping to dismantle the tension of fear. Let's keep discovering. I refuse to let this moment slip away. With her eyes locked on his, he felt for a moment that all divides had vanished. They each stood at an intersection of potential, poised between two worlds yearning for connection. In the growing silence, Anthony sensed that the clarity of their intentions rested uncomfortably as an approaching storm. Little did they know, the unfolding of their relationship would require a commitment to understanding not just love, but the intricate dance of two very different beings as they ventured forth into the unknown territory of their intertwined fates. As the sun dipped beneath the horizon, casting the park in hues of gold and lilac, Anthony felt a mix of exhilaration and trepidation. Their meaningful interactions had only intensified the emotions swirling inside him, and he was keenly aware that the days of Arya's mating season were drawing nearer. Each moment spent with her was like walking on a tightrope, the allure of their connection balanced precariously against the cultural intricacies and the biological realities of their very different worlds. Anthony's heart raced as he replayed their conversation, her earnestness lingering in his thoughts. Did he truly comprehend the depth of what she was experiencing? As they parted ways for the evening, he felt an unshakable urge to reach out and hold her, to anchor her to him in the tumultuous storm of her instincts. Yet he hesitated, uncertainty keeping him at bay. The following days brought new challenges. Arya's behavior fluctuated between playful and distracted, her warmth matched with fleeting moments of desperation. Anthony could sense the mounting tension within her, almost tangible in the air. One evening, as he returned home from work, he heard soft whimpers from her unit. Racked with concern, he knocked on her door, anxiety churning in his stomach. When Arya opened the door, her eyes were wide and glossy, her breath uneven. "Arya, are you okay?" he asked, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation. It's getting harder to manage," she admitted, her voice a soft rasp. "The urge is almost overwhelming." Anthony's heart sank. He could see the struggle written across her face. "What can I do?" "I don't know." She glanced away, a mix of fear and longing haunting her gaze. "I don't want to pull you into this. The longer I stay near you, the more I feel." A sudden urgency gripped him. "Isn't that a good thing? I want to be here for you, Arya. You deserve to feel supported. But what if I can't control myself? What if I hurt you?" Her eyes shimmered, dangerously close to spilling tears. "My instincts could overpower my intentions. I have to protect you." "By pushing me away?" Anthony's voice caught in his throat. "You don't have to face this alone." Arya's shoulders slumped, her emotional barrier crumbling in the intensity of the moment. "But I could hurt you. I can't let that happen." Her voice flared as frustration washed over her. "What if I'm okay with it?" His words hung in the air, laden with boldness. "What if we explore this together, in a way that respects both of us?" "Anthony, you don't understand." Arya's voice rose again, tears glistening in her eyes. "It's not just about consent. It's about the primal urges I can't control when I'm in heat." It dawned on Anthony that her words were a reflection of deep-seated fears, a confluence of instincts and emotions tangled beyond comprehension. Suddenly, the notion of how far they were willing to go became starkly clearer. He took a deep breath, letting silence envelop them as he mulled over her insights. "Okay, then what do we do? What do you need?" "I need," Arya began to say, her gaze locking onto his. "I need you to promise that you won't dismiss my instincts. They're powerful and primal. I don't want to harm you, Anthony, but I don't want to run away either. The implications of her words echoed in his mind, a potent mixture of fear and desire that set his heart pounding faster. So, what if we take precautions? What if I help you through this? The suggestion caught in his throat, the idea of tying her up surfacing in the recesses of his mind, half fantasy and half terrifyingly real. "Help me how?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper, nervous energy crackling around them. "Maybe let me restrain you, just to keep us both safe." The words tumbled out, and he could see the escalating response in her eyes, the mix of shock and something else, an undeniable spark of intrigue. Her breath hitched, and she stepped closer. The heat radiated from her body, an energy that sent shivers racing along his skin. "Are you serious? Look, I want to be here for you, Arya. I don't want to back down just because things get complicated," he said earnestly, his heart pounding in his chest as he faced her. "This isn't just a biological thing. There's a connection between us, one that goes beyond cultural expectations." Arya's gaze bore into his, searching for sincerity, for commitment. "You are willing to take that leap?" "I'm willing to explore this," he affirmed, adrenaline coursing through his veins. Together, with a swirl of emotion, she drew close to him, their faces merely inches apart. "Then help me navigate this tumultuous journey, Anthony. Help me channel my urges." A charged silence hung between them, thick with possibility. As he stood near her, the world outside faded into the background, narrowing down into this concise moment where two souls intertwined, each buoyed by desire, fear, and uncertainty. But as anticipation crackled in the air, Anthony knew that the line they were dancing upon was becoming increasingly perilous. With their hearts laid bare and instincts burgeoning, they prepared to step into a realm that neither had truly ventured before. The night had arrived, and with it, the weight of anticipation filled the air. Arya stood in Anthony's dimly lit living room, her eyes sparkling with a blend of longing and uncertainty. Her mating season had reached its peak, an intensity radiating from her very being, and Anthony felt it wrapping around him like a warm shroud. "Are you sure about this?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yes," he replied, his heart pounding in his chest. "We'll take it slow, and if it gets too intense, we can stop." She nodded, taking a deep breath as they prepared for what lay ahead. Anthony reached for some soft ropes he had laid out earlier, a blend of excitement and caution. He needed to ensure they both felt safe, even in the heat of the moment. Arya stepped closer, her pheromones wrapping around him, heightening his senses. "You have to promise me you'll control it," she said, her voice trembling with urgency. "I promise," he replied, his gaze fixed on her. "We'll explore this together." With a swift movement, he gently captured her wrists, soft ropes binding them in a way that felt intimate yet protective. Arya moaned softly, her body responding to the sensation, desire blending with the fear of losing control. As he secured her, Arya's eyes glinted with something primal. "I can feel it welling up inside me, Anthony. The urge to mate is overwhelming. I want to be with you," he admitted, his voice low, "and I want to help you manage it." With their boundaries set, Anthony leaned in closer, their breaths mingling, an electric tension sparking between them. Arya's skin shimmered under the low light, pulsing with the rhythm of her racing heart. "Release your inhibitions," he urged, and with that, the floodgates opened. Arya leaned into him, the urgency of her mating season overwhelming her senses. Their bodies moved together, each touch igniting a fire that was both exhilarating and consuming. Anthony's heart raced as he embraced her desires, navigating the delicate balance of respect and passion. He was acutely aware of every nuance of her alien form, celebrating what set them apart. "It's incredible," she breathed, her words laced with a mix of pleasure and desperation, as he held her. "I want this. I want you." The world around them seemed to dissolve, leaving only the raw intensity of their connection. Bound yet free, they explored the intersection of their species, each caress heightened by the understanding that they were not just bridging cultural divides, but also the depths of emotional connection. As desire swirled within them, Anthony whispered, "Let go, Arya. Let's surrender to this." With a moan that vibrated through him, Arya melted against him, giving in to the instinctual pull of her mating season, while Anthony held her firm yet gentle, guiding her through waves of ecstasy that intertwined their fates. He realized this was where they were meant to be, two beings entangled in a dance as ancient as time itself, exploring not just the physical, but the emotional bond that had blossomed between them, deeper than either could have anticipated. The night unfolded, their connection growing richer with every stolen moment, and within that tempestuous chaos, they found clarity, a union of their desires binding them to each other, fraught with challenges, yet buoyed by the promise of an adventure newly discovered. As dawn broke, the first rays of sunlight crept into the room, illuminating the scene of intertwined bodies, Anthony and Arya, caught in a tapestry of emotion and curiosity. The remnants of their passionate night lay scattered around them, but the lingering connection felt far more profound than mere physical union. Arya stirred, and when she opened her eyes to find Anthony gazing back at her, a gentle smile broke upon her lips. "I didn't know it could be like this," she confessed, her voice soft, a blend of awe and relief. Anthony chuckled, brushing a loose strand of shimmering hair behind her ear. "Neither did I, but I feel like we've crossed a threshold that changes everything." The realization settled between them, the repercussions of their evening hanging in the air. They had both embraced the journey of mating, not just as biological beings, but as two souls longing for connection. "Now, what do we do?" Arya asked, her expression shifting from euphoria to a hint of uncertainty. "Facing the aftermath of our actions, will it change our dynamic?" Anthony took a deep breath, his heart steadying as he considered his words. "We take it as it comes. We've learned so much about each other, and we both made a choice to be here. Maybe this is just the beginning of something beautiful." Arya nodded, her gaze thoughtful. "Beautiful, but complicated. My people have expectations, especially after mating, and I want to be honest with you about what that means." "I'm willing to learn," he replied, cupping her cheek. "Let's figure it out together." In the days that followed, they navigated both the sunlight of their budding relationship and the shadows of their complexities. Anthony immersed himself in learning more about Arya's culture, attending gatherings with her and engaging with her community. The understanding and mutual respect they cultivated strengthened their bond, transforming uncertainty into camaraderie. With each encounter, he understood the weight of her people's traditions and how the act of mating transcended physical needs. It was a celebration of connection and commitment, and he was honored to be a part of it. Their relationship blossomed, fraught with challenges as they forged a path between two worlds. Anthony learned to celebrate both their differences and their similarities, embracing the beauty that emerged from their union. And through it all, they discovered that love and the journey of mating was not solely about physical union. It was about partnership, empathy, and the willingness to grow together in the face of adversity. One evening, as they sat side by side on the balcony, overlooking the city that now felt like home, Arya looked over at him, her eyes sparkling with warmth. "I never thought I would find this kind of connection." "I did," Anthony replied, grinning. "I always believed somewhere out there, beyond all barriers, there was a bond that could unite us." With laughter warming the air around them, Anthony realized that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them side by side. They were no longer just neighbors. They had become partners in an adventurous exploration of love, tradition, and the enduring strength of connection. As the sun dipped below the horizon once more, casting a brilliant glow across the sky, Anthony and Arya held hands, steadfast in their decision to embrace a future woven together.